Okay, so two fact-inspired films about American minorities are set to be released in France on Wednesday. Let's start with The Butler, which is directed by Lee Daniels and starring that wonderful actor, Forest Whitaker.
He is wonderful. Whitaker plays Cecil Gaines, a fictionalized version of an actual African-American man who worked as a butler in the White House under 8 presidents. Cecil only gets 7 in the movie. That's what I call job longevity. The notorious J. Edgar Hoover held power as head of the FBI for a similar length of time, and I, of course, fully intend to still be standing here 30 years from now babbling about movies. A White House butler's job is to provide perfect service while seeming to be invisible. But Cecil's time in the White House happened to coincide with the upheaval of the American civil rights movement, when Black Americans had had quite enough of being docile and accepting of second-class status in what was their own country.
What's amazing too is that he's actually English, isn't he? And he keeps playing these American characters. But it does seem incredible that at that time, American citizens who happened to have dark skins were expected to sit in separate sections in restaurants and on buses and genuinely accept lower wages. It is actually, within some of our lifetime. The change
it
is
does
extraordinary.
Seem incredible. It really wasn't that long ago. And the U.S. Supreme Court made a ruling quite recently that weakened voting protections on the theory that the nation has changed and for the better, and nobody would want to try to or think of trying to disenfranchise minority voters. Who would want to do something like that? Yeah, right. Last week at the Deauville Film Festival, I asked director Lee Daniels whether he'd gotten any feedback from younger viewers who had no idea what the struggle for civil rights had entailed. And this is what he replied.
My 30-year-old nephew turned to me and said, "Uncle, did you make this up or is it real?" And it broke my heart because he speaks for many, many people, Black people, that don't know that this happened.
Now, I understand Denzel Washington and Will Smith turned down this role.
They did, but you know what? Forest Whitaker was the right guy for the job, whatever you may think of the movie, and I happen to like it. Also astonishingly good is Oprah Winfrey as Cecil's wife. Now,
Are you kidding me? Really?
She's really, really good. Although she's virtually unknown here in France, she is a household word in the U.S. for her hosting of television programs, for her magazine empire, and for her oversized personality. She also happens to be a self-made billionaire, which, of course, helps support the notion that through talent and hard work, anybody can make it in America, but she is absolutely terrific in this role. And the makeup people did an astonishing job with aging Whitaker and Winfrey over the course of 5 decades. The director told me that he actually would not have done the film unless they could get the makeup right.
I think makeup is incredibly important, isn't it, Lisa? Now, the film has been very successful in the US, hasn't it?
You can say that again, $74 million and counting, and that's in the US alone. It's been drawing audiences in for about a month, and one of the theories why is that this is a movie that's actually designed for adults who like to go out to the movies sometimes, much as teenage boys do. But teenage boys are that sacred demographic for summer moviegoing.
Oh, bring on more art house films, that's what I say. Now, also out in France this Wednesday, and not aimed, thank goodness, at teenage boys, is a French film shot in English called Jimmy P.
Yes, it's hard to know who exactly this film is aimed at. The full title is Jimmy P., Psychotherapy of a Plains Indian. I know, you want the lunchbox, the baseball cap, all that stuff. It was one of the French films in competition at Cannes this May, and it endeavors to recount the true story of how pioneering ethno-psychoanalyst Georges Devreux, played by Mathieu Almaric, helped Blackfoot Indian Jimmy Picard, played by Benicio del Toro, to recover from ailments brought on by trauma experienced in the military in World War II and dating back to his childhood. Not unlike Cecil Gaines's life as a Black man in America, Jimmy's life as a Native American had more than its fair share of discrimination and prejudice.
Lisa Nielsen, thank you so much for that wrap of the Cultures news. And also, she's going to go and check whether, in fact, Forest Whitaker is indeed British, and I think he is. You'll find that I am right. I'll bet you a Mars bar.
I know he plays a mean British accent, but okay, up for grabs.
That's Lisa Nielsen, our film critic. And just to remind viewers of our top story, that world leaders are